I'm here with actor slash model Chris Barnett. Thank you so much for taking time to meet up with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for seeing me.
So I know you started out in high school as a lacrosse player, and then you kind of segued into modeling
Yes.
after that. What was the
That
journey
the
from
transition.
lacrosse? Yeah, the transition.
Well, it involved a lot of working out. It helped having 24/7 access to a gym.
Yeah.
And, as much as I hated at the time, all the conditioning and whatnot, but I was in great shape, and I actually hadn't considered it as a possibility. And then it kind of fell into my lap, an opportunity that opened my eyes and kind of showed me that it's possible. It's something you can do if you want to and try hard enough.
What was your first modeling gig?
It was a fitness brand that catered to yoga moms and whatnot, and they wanted to rebrand to an edgy, younger audience. So I was the face of that rebranding campaign in 2016, I believe. So we shot, I think, I don't know, 6 or 7 editorial sessions, and then I believe they did like subway ads, bus ads. No billboards, though. That was a bummer.
Bus ads are good here in New York, though. Now that you live
Yeah,
in New
I
York,
think
that would have been cool.
I think it would have been great, but in Connecticut.
There's. What are the biggest challenges or hurdles that you faced going into the modeling industry, and what was the most rewarding?
Oh man, well, the modeling industry is not forgiving. I remember, because I'm 5'9", and traditional models are 5'10" and above, especially for high fashion. So I moving into New York, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and Wilhelmina models, open call, minimum 5'10". I'm like, they won't know. I'll wear shoes.
Right, it's just an inch.
Right? I show up. They actually measured my height. Yeah, and they literally were like, please leave. So after sitting in the waiting room full of clones that are taller than me,
Yeah.
I had to make a little walk of shame out of there. And
Wow.
yeah, that was 3 years ago now, and I was just like, this is not going to be as easy as I thought.
So ridiculous for an inch. I mean, you literally could put something in your shoe.
I was wearing shoes and they made me take them off, which is...
Next time you'll have surgical heel implants.
Exactly.
You'll know better.
See, but the landscape has changed quite a bit, actually, ever since, Instagram models became a thing. I actually worked with one once, and they had no actual photo shoot experience. They were used to being the photographer and the editor and looking at every take.
Right.
It was a nightmare.
That is true. You bring up Instagram nowadays. That's a huge platform for people to get themselves out there.
Yeah.
Do you think if you had that platform back when you first started, I know you started in 2016, it wasn't quite out yet, do you think that would have helped you more, or do you think it would have been about the same because you were hired anyway?
I think in terms of exposure, it would have definitely behooved me to take advantage of it, because I was hesitant because of judgment from peers and whatnot, and I only have a dash of narcissism.
Just a small dash, right?
Just a little bit. But I was hesitant to put things up and hashtag and really just sell myself, because I was like, I didn't see the point. But yeah, so to answer your question in a very roundabout way, it would have helped. But better late than never.
In so far as being a model is all about your physical appearance, does it ever not weigh on you, but does it make you feel like people only care about the physical appearance and they really don't care to get to know you as a person and what you have to offer outside of your body?
Yes and no. But yeah, in a way it does, because you're constantly judged by what you look like, literally. And you walk into all these castings full of a room of you, but with different variations. It's really surreal, actually. And then you leave, and either they're like, no, we like you be, not you. Like, I'm like, okay, the difference being I have 8 freckles and he has 10.
Right.
So I don't know, at some point you kind of just say fuck it, and that's when you really get the power back.
And now you're transitioning to acting, which is similar, but yet you get to show more of yourself and a bigger skill set, in terms of you're not just going to stand there and be like, hey, I can flex my abs and make my chest move. So what has that transition been like for you, and has modeling helped you get a thicker skin in terms of auditioning?
Yes, modeling definitely, toughened me up. Acting is a whole nother animal, one which I love dearly. It's always been a passion of mine. If you ask anyone, they'll tell you I've kind of been a performer, which, I'll say that. That's a nice way to put it. But
Crave attention, do you?
yeah,
A little bit.
I wasn't shy growing up, but so modeling prepared me well for that. And not to demean modeling in any way, because
Right,
I know
absolutely not.
some amazing, professionals, that's all they do. And, you could ask them for any kind of pose, they'll just deliver it, drop of a hat, like Zoolander-esque kind of thing. But acting, it's multifaceted in that, it's a real skill, just as posing is, but you need to basically embody another person. Tell the truth under imaginary circumstances. So, like, the camera catches everything.
Yeah.
With stills, it's easy. When you are right in a close-up, if there's any doubt, it picks it up.
It registers it, absolutely.
And it's terrible, to rewatch your footage and be like, oh my god. But it's also just such an amazing thing to be able to bring to life a lot of these, fictitious or not, situations and people.
Has modeling helped you book acting auditions based on a certain look that they were going for, or?
Yes, we got into typecasting. Well, I'm a big fan of the trend of the industry currently, and I'm also not, because it's great for humanity that, people, all right, so character actors are in, people with unique looks, not the norm, and also ethnic is in, because white is not an ethnicity apparently. So it's a struggle for me personally, but for everyone else, it's a good thing. In terms of typecasting as appearance goes, yes, there's always like those little roles like hot bartender or hot guy, or it's pretty just, physical.
Yeah. And that's something you're going to have to overcome because of the modeling.
Yes.
You want to be seen as somebody who's not just hot bartender, hot this, shirtless that,
Exactly.
naked this. Yeah.
And the struggle really is just to kind of show that I'm not a pretty face. I'm not even that pretty. You see me in real life.
It's all smoke and mirrors,
It is.
people.
It really is. But yeah, I mean, it does get aggravating.
Yeah.
Because, not to toot my own horn, but I will, I'm a great actor. And a lot of people just see me as, oh, nice cheekbones.
Yeah. What was your first role that you booked, acting-wise?
Acting-wise, it was actually for my older brother. He's been in the industry for a while. He's an award-winning filmmaker. But it was for the finale episode of his web series.
Okay.
That he's just now packaging up to, to pitch to networks. It's called The Shades, and it's about a young couple with a young daughter that move into a suburb that all of their neighbors are different religious extremists.
Okay.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know any other way to say it, but you will see me play a hot bartender. So even my own brother.
Even your own brother. Even your brother can't even see past your
But he gave
body.
me a role, and
that's all that matters.
And I got to improv a lot, and they kept all of my improv, and I wanted a writing credit. He wouldn't do it. But yeah.
Well, maybe now that he knows you're being interviewed about it, maybe he'll change his mind.
Maybe, and I'm plugging him. So
That's right.
The finale should be out tentatively March.
Cool. Will you let me know if he doesn't give you that credit? We'll just delete this part of the interview.
Yeah, we can delete it. Just go back, fix
What
it.
was it like working on set for the first time in an acting environment versus just posing?
I feel like, me personally, I had so much more fun on set, on a film set versus a modeling set. Structurally, there's a lot of similarities in terms of equipment and crew and whatnot, but just the overall feeling, I can't even describe it or do it justice. It's, you're all there to create something. And in my experience on modeling sets, everyone's either there for a paycheck or you know, there just to look pretty
Mhm.
and be reminded of how pretty they are.
Moving forward, since you have done so much of the beefcake, the hot guy, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
what kind of acting roles are you looking for? Are you trying to steer away from what you've been typecast, or what you could potentially be typecast as, or are you kind of going for everything?
Well, nah, I am not going for everything. It's always a fun thing to do, because before you enter the acting industry, you have this idea of what you look like and how you're perceived. And I remember vividly after, you know, my first headshot session, I'm starry-eyed, and I go in, and I'm not getting any commercial auditions, and I'm wondering why. And then I'm starting to ask casting directors, I'm like, what type do you see me as, if you don't mind? And they're like, villain, smooth talker, bad boy, con man. I'm like, oh, thank you. So that kind of steered me in the right direction, which fits because I love those roles.
Yeah, they're the most challenging.
And they're fun.
Yeah.
It's everything society won't let you do, you get to do.
Right.
Like, I mean, Patrick Bateman, the Joker, all of Jack Nicholson's roles. I don't know, it's something about being bad. It's fun to me.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He's a serial killer underneath. We're going to need to wrap this up real quick.
Oh, Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah. What do you find most challenging going into an audition? Do you find it trying to connect with the casting director? Do you find it like actually putting in the work to have a great audition?
The audition room is such a tumultuous, you know, beast.
Yeah.
I remember vividly my first audition, and I'm a confident guy, and I was confident on the way there, and I walked in, and right when I close the door and turn around, and I see, you know, a panel of people looking at me, and they say, "Whenever you're ready," and I'm like, all of a sudden I couldn't talk. I was like, okay, what the hell? My voice went 8 octaves higher, you know, and I left. I'm like, holy shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
Since then I've evolved, and I like to look at it this way. Basically, whoever they are, I don't care what casting director they are, if they call you in for an audition, you own them for however many minutes. And that's kind of where you get your power back. And also, the way I look at it now, it's like you have no control.
Right.
Your job is to prepare your take on a role.
Right.
You go in and you show them what you made.
Yeah. And it's almost that you have two jobs. You have to make an impression on them as a person.
Yeah.
Then you also have to make an impression on them as the character.
Exactly.
Whereas modeling, you just have to be yourself and get your picture taken.
That's it.
Not to belittle modeling, but it's so different from
it's
acting in
completely
terms of
different.
that.
Like castings, you go in, you slate, you give all your angles, and you leave. Which is why sometimes living in Brooklyn is a nightmare. You get like a casting on the Upper West, and you're like,
Leave 3 days beforehand.
literally, and then you
Because of
go
the
in
NTA.
for 15 seconds and leave, and you're like, oh, great. But yeah, no, acting is, the audition room for acting is fun
Yeah.
and dangerous and terrifying.
Any interest in doing theater since you're New York based?
See, now, I am not opposed to it. My mother actually did a brief stint on Broadway way back before she had my older brother. He's the one who ruined her career. No, she's amazing. We're actually
She's going to relive her dreams through you.
We're trying to get her to come back in and audition because, you know, why not? And she's an amazing talent. But, sorry, I digress. Where was I?
We were talking about...
Oh, theater.
Yeah, theater.
I'm not opposed to it at all, obviously. I mean, if Broadway knocked on my door and they're like, hey, you want to do this? What am I going to say? No.
Does that scare you more so because it's something you have to really be in the moment and you're going to get a reaction from and you really can't screw up and get a do-over?
I think theater is exciting. I mean, I've done some, you know, like small theater things, like last-minute experimental theater stuff, and it was fun. It was terrifying and fun, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
I love the meat of TV in that you can chew a role and you can really kind of ruminate with whatever your take is on this person, and then you get to deliver it. And obviously then, you know, come in direction and whatnot, and you have all those arguments. But in theater, it's like you just run it and gun it. You do it. You do it big.
Yeah.
And I think they both are incredible. One's instantly gratifying, and one is just wait and see.
So what's coming up next for you?
Well, I co-created a pilot with my older brother. It is a fever dream and a half. We just finished production. It's entering post-production phase, which I have nothing to do with, thank God. Tons of editing, but then it will be out on the festival circuit 2019, the end of 2019.
Can you tease a little bit about the project and
Oh,
what you
yeah.
play, or
I mean, it's
or who,
so
not what?
to try to boil it down to a log line, it's about two hapless millennial brothers who unwittingly get roped into a police conspiracy to gentrify an up-and-coming neighborhood in Brooklyn while pursuing their entertainment industry dreams and trying not to kill each other.
Literally or figuratively?
Maybe both.
Interesting.
It's
Good tease.
it's amazing because we had such support. We have two-time Emmy winner Vincent DePaul acting and helping produce it, and a dear friend of mine, Antonio Viscarando, who just finished up his stint on Power playing Scotty in this past season. He's playing the antagonist. I'm really excited for it. I mean, hopefully we took a page out of High Maintenance's book. You know, we just did it ourselves. So hopefully some of these networks like it. We're going to cut it into a short and a standalone pilot and see what happens.
Very cool. Well, I wish you continued success. Looking forward to what comes next for you, and hopefully we'll be able to sit down and do a second interview.
Yeah,
before you hit Matt
hopefully at the
Damon
premiere.
status. Yeah.
Oh, Matt Damon, move over.
Who's that? That's right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.